Marc Short. Now, we should say that he has not been charged with anything. He is not facing any criminal allegations. He is facing allegations that he had an affair, an inappropriate relationship with a staffer. He says there's more to the story than that. And then she tragically took her own life. And I guess if the charges are true, it's gross and awful. But where do you draw the line if somebody has not been criminally charged with anything?
Well, look, because this is happening in the context of an election and a primary, he's going to have to decide what do his voters need to hear in order to have confidence in him and reelect him. I mean, I think that it's a political question as much as it's a legal question, frankly, at this point. And I would think that part of what folks in the Capitol are thinking about is in the era of the Epstein files, where there is this perception that, and some reports suggest reality, that things are being hidden, right? There's not the transparency we would like to see. You do not want to be on the side of anything other than full transparency and making sure that the record is clear in terms of what did happen. He says there's more to it. Well, then what's the legal process? What did happen? What's that investigation going to show? It's
kind of interesting that two of the Republicans who represent the same state as him, Texas, Brendan Gill, and another, who's the one I'm thinking?
Chip Roy?
Chip Roy, yes. Sorry.
All good.
Brain fart.
Okay.
That Chip Roy, Brendan Gill, are not calling him to step down, but calling him to jump out of the re-election race. And there's a strong House Freedom Caucus, more conservative guy there. You used to work for Mike Pence, so this was never a part of your job. But what do you think?
I don't think it's that complicated. I think he should step down.
Why?
Because I think there's a different standard. Our standard shouldn't be a criminal prosecution, Jake. These are members elected to represent us, the United States government, in the halls of Congress. There should be a standard here, and there was a time not too long ago that there would have been that standard enforced regardless of party. I think it's hard to look at this and say that the dynamics are not influenced by the fact that there's a one-seat majority inside the Republican Party. And, I wouldn't be surprised if we get till mid-March and Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat is filled, that all of a sudden the pressure does build because then the margin is 2. But I don't think this needs to be that complicated. I don't think it needs to be whether there's a threshold of criminal prosecution. You're representing American citizens in the halls of Congress. This sort of conduct should not be accepted.
Assuming it's true, you say.
I think there's enough that's already come out that is true. I don't think he's questioning. He's saying there's more to the story, but I don't think there's really questioning what has already come out.
Do you think, just jumping off the point that Marc just made, if Republicans had a 40-vote majority, that we would even be having this conversation? Because the theory being, like, they can afford to lose a seat, therefore the pressure would just be like, get out of here, you're a distraction.
Sure, because again, in part because in the era of the Epstein files, where we have not enough transparency, it would be an easier political position to take to be on the side of transparency, because they all like to be on the right side on certain issues.
Now, Speaker Johnson, he didn't call there when there was the vote to expel George Santos before he had been convicted of a crime. He didn't support it, and his argument was you have to wait until there is a conviction. You can't just go by indictments. There are. You can get an indictment against a ham sandwich, except for perhaps today's DOJ. That's a separate discussion, though. But what you don't buy that as a standard.
Again, I don't. I think that's not the right standard. This is not a criminal prosecution. I don't think this is. I've made the point about it being a one-seat majority, but I don't think that's unique to Republicans. I think Democrats have had the same position in the past, and they've defended people who've had incredibly poor choice in this sort of character. So it's not a partisan issue. I just think it's a matter of standards. And I think for members of elected government, that's not where we should be.
Long before former Congressman Anthony Weiner broke the law.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats did, they had a bigger majority, but they did boot him out because of embarrassing messages.
I know it's a long time ago, Jake, but we had a president of the United States, the Democratic Party, having, oral sexual favors from an intern, and all the Democrats in Congress stood beside him. So this is not like Republican.
I wouldn't say. It was mixed.
Come on.
Okay, so all the Republicans in Congress are standing by the president. And how many laws has he broken?
I'm sitting here saying that this guy should be forced out.
Yeah.
But
fine. You've convinced me. He should be out.
But the same standard for Democrats, though. I mean,
it should be the same
sexual
standard.
Impropriety. You're sleeping with a staffer. What is the line? Is it he's having an affair, he's cheating on his wife, or it's he's having an affair with somebody he works for, or he's having an affair with somebody he works for, and it turned incredibly tragic?
No, look, I think if you're in a position of power over someone where the power dynamic is not appropriate, you should step down if it is proven. I do think and I'm not saying, I don't know enough to be perfectly honest about this dynamic between these two. I certainly think it's very troubling. If it's true, if it's factual, then absolutely you should step down. I think you should get the chance to prove your case, but if it's true, you're out.
Agreement. All right. Karen Finney, Marc Short, thanks so much.